Good morning students, welcome to the last classroom lecture of engineering mechanics. So after this week, from next week onwards, we can have conversation through Google Meet or any other online video conferencing tool. You can ask me question in Moodle also. Today we are going to revise whatever we have studied. So how we are going to revise all those things? We will just solve last year questions, right? And if we solve last year questions, automatically we will be revising all the things whatever we have learned. Okay students, yesterday class we were doing this numerical, right? So I told you to solve this numerical yourself, and it is very easy numerical, right? So let us read the question again. The elevator lift consists of a elevator cage. This is a cage and a counterweight of mass m. This is a counterweight, okay, and both are having same mass, right? The cage and the counterweight are connected by chain that passes over a pulley. The pulley is coupled to a motor. It is desired that the elevator should have a maximum stopping time of t seconds. So the elevator, whether it is cage or counterweight, everything should stop within t seconds from a peak speed of v. So suppose that right now they are having peak speed of v. So after t second, it should stop. If the inertia of the pulley and the chain are neglected, the minimum power that the motor must have is. So first of all, what we need to see, the energy. So let us see at time t is equal to 0, what will be the energy of this system, right? So this mass is moving with v velocity, and this also will be moving with v velocity because they are both are connected with single string, right? So mv square by 2 plus mv square by 2. So at t is equal to t, what will be the energy? 0, right? Because what will happen at t is equal to 0, t is equal to t, v dash should be 0. Both the masses should stop, right? So that time we will not have any energy. So this is only kinetic energy I am taking, right? There will be potential energy also, but problem is that this mass is moving upward. Suppose h distance, so same this mass will move downward with h distance, right? So whatever potential energy will increase for this mass will decrease for this mass, right? So that will be cancelled out. So that's why I am taking only kinetic energy, right? So what is the power definition of power? Power is equal to delta E per time, right? Energy per unit time, change in energy per unit time, right? So this is mv square, okay, mv square by 2 plus mv square by 2 will become mv square, and what is time t? So that will be our answer, that this is our power in watts, right? So that's that easy question it is. From outside, when we look these type of question, it feels like it is very tough, but normally these type of questions which are very long, they are very easy. Normally they will be very easy, right? So it is just to confuse you. They write this much of theory and one diagram separately, but it is very easy question. Okay then. Let us move to next question. So this is also last year question only. So let us read the question again. The figure shows a pair of pin joint gripper tongues holding an object weighing 2000 Newton. So this object weighs 2000 Newton. The coefficient of friction at the gripping surface is 0.1, right? So at this surface and at this surface, mu is available. The value of mu is 0.1. Axis is the line of action of the input force, and yy is the line of application of gripping force. If the pin joint is assumed to be frictionless, the magnitude of the force F required to hold the weight. Okay, so we have to find out the magnitude of F, right? So we have to apply concept of friction here. So for first we need to make free body diagram of this ball, this box, this weight, right? So weight is 2000 Newton and there will be two surfaces, so two friction force, right? So Fr, and what is the value of friction force? Mu into n and mu into n. N is normal force at this contact surface. So at this contact surface normal force will be this one, at this contact surface normal force will be this one, right, and both will be same because this whole thing is symmetrical, right. So mu n is equal to 2000. So what we will do now, sigma Fy is equal to 0, right. We will balance the force in y direction. So what we will get, 2 mu n is equal to 2000, right. So it will go, and finally we can get n is equal to mu is equal to 0.1 10 to the power 4, right. So now we already got n. Now with the help of n we can find out f. So what we need to do for that, simply we can take moment about this point P, right. So you just consider only one link, right. We will just consider only this link, right, and we will make free body diagram of this link only and we will analyze, right. So I will just draw that link again. Right, only one link I am considering. So what is happening, this link is forcing this mass in this direction. So what will happen, from reaction force this mass will apply force in this direction, and that will be equal to n, right. So both are action reaction, n and force will be here F, and we are taking moment about somewhere here, right. So okay, so now we have to find out the perpendicular distance from this point of both these forces. So just make a perpendicular here, and from here just make a perpendicular here, right, and take moment about this point. So this distance is given in the question, that is around 300, right, and this distance is given again, that is around 150. Just take moment about this point. So let me take this f into 300, okay, in clockwise direction, and in clockwise direction, and n will be anti-clockwise, right. So n into 150, so that will be equal to 0 because everything is in equilibrium, right. So from here we can directly find out, this is gone 2 times, n is 10 to the power 4, so f will come 5000, right. This will be the answer. So let us see, 5000 is here, yeah, this is the answer. So that is also very easy question, just you have to know how to make free body diagram. If you know how to make free body diagram, you can easily solve all these questions. Okay, let us move to next question. So an ejector, it is also last gate year question only. An ejector mechanism consists of a helical spring. So this thing is, I think, is spring, having a spring constant of 981 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per meter. It is pre-compressed by 100 millimeter from its free state if it is used to eject a mass of 100 kilogram held on it. So this mass is having 100 kilogram. The mass will move up through a distance of, okay, so we need to find out the distance up to which this mass will move up, right. So let us draw the initial condition when we did not have mass. So what will happen, that time we will have this spring, okay. So when in free condition, this spring will not have any compression. So it is the first part, second part, and third part also we are going to draw. So this distance will be equal to, given in the question, that is 100 millimeter, right. So this distance is equal to 100 millimeter. So what we are doing, we are compressing it from this point to this point. We are compressing the spring from this point to this point and compressing by 0.1 meter, right. So because of this compression, what will happen, this spring will store some amount of potential energy, and what is the formula of that potential energy, K by 2 0.1 square, right, the compression itself, right. So K value is given, that is 981 into 10 to the power 3 981 into 10 to the power 3 and 10 to the power minus 2 from here will become 10. This will be divided by 2, right? So that will be your potential energy that is stored here, right? So now if we will release it, what will happen? This spring will try to move up, it will carry this mass with itself, right? First it will reach this equilibrium position. So this is the equilibrium position. Okay, so potential energy is 981 into 10 by 2, right? So this is the equilibrium position. Okay, so again it will reach up to this point, but it won't stop here. The spring will not stop here because at this line it will have kinetic energy, like that is all converted from PE to KE, right? Potential energy to kinetic energy. So it will keep on moving at the up, right? So from the equilibrium position it is moving up. Right, and carrying mass with it, right? 100. Okay, so what they are asking us to find? They are asking us to find this distance, that is actually x, right? So we have to find out this distance. So what we are going to do? We are going to apply energy conservation here, right? So energy conservation means this potential energy will change into kinetic energy here at this point of time, right? And again potential energy. So let us just do energy conservation. This is, suppose it is 1, PE1 is equal to PE2 plus KE2. So why I didn't write PE1? Because at this point of time everything is in rest, nothing is moving, so there will not be any kinetic energy, there will be only potential energy. But in third part here we will have, at this point we will have kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? Because this spring is getting elongated with x distance. Okay, so let us just solve it. By 2 is equal to PE, because it is elongated from its equilibrium position, by x distance. So k by 2 x square plus, what will be kinetic energy? Wait. Okay, so it will come after this equilibrium, it will come up and it will stop here, right? So this will be the maximum elongation of this. So what is happening here? I will tell you again. Starting at second point there is no velocity, it is 0. Then after that spring will elongate, it will come to this point. At this point it will have some velocity, but after crossing it at this point it will stop, right? It will stop. Why? Because it is the maximum elongation, right? After that this spring will again start to compress, right? It is the maximum elongation. So this Ke2 also will be 0, right? So what we need to find? PE2. So this is potential energy because of the spring. Now potential energy that is stored in the weight, how much that will be? mgh, right? So potential energy, why it is storing in weight? Because weight is moving from this point to this point, right? It is moving up, right, against gravity. So weight is 100 into g, and how much it is moving? X plus 0.1, right? So x is this distance, right? And before that already it is moved 0.1, right? Because 0.1 is compression here, you can see. So now we will just solve it and we will find out the value of x. So let us just put the values. So it will be quadratic equation and we have to solve it. So I will be directly writing the answer. That will be around 100 millimeter. So this will be your answer, right? So that's how we are going to solve these type of questions with energy balance. Okay, initial energy will be equal to final energy. So that's how we are going to solve these type of questions, right? So now let us move to next question. Okay, you have to solve this from this step to this step with the help of calculator and everything, and always use only scientific calculator that is available in GATE, right? I already shared the link in Moodle. Okay, let us move to next question now. A rigid body shown in figure A has a mass of 10 kg. It rotates with a uniform angular velocity of omega. A balancing mass of 20 kg is attached as shown in figure B. So this is figure A and this is B. The percentage increase in mass moment of inertia as a result of this motion, this addition is, right? So we have to just find out mass moment of inertia first in this case, then in this case. So what will be the mass moment of inertia of this case? Suppose I am representing mass moment of inertia with I1 for this. So it will be mr square, right? So what is the mass? 10, and what is the distance? 0.2, right? This is 200 millimeter, right? How much will be I2? I2 will be mass moment of inertia of B, right? So here we are having 10 kilogram and 20 kilogram, two masses. So total m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square. So what is m1 r1? 10 into 0.2 square plus 20 kilogram into 0.1 square. Okay, so now what they are asking, the percentage increase in mass moment of inertia as a result of this addition. Okay, so they are asking I2 minus I1 divided by I1 into 100, percentage increase in mass moment of inertia. Okay, and we have to solve this and then we need to find the answer, right? So I already solved it here. You can see I1 is 4 into 10 to the power 5, I2 is 6 into 10 to the power 5, and percentage increase is I2 minus I1 by I1, and that you will get around 50%, right? So that will be answer. So a bullet of mass m travels at a very high velocity v as shown in figure and gets embedded inside the block of mass m, initially at rest on a rough horizontal floor, right? So the floor is rough, means it is having mu, right? The block with the bullet is seen to move a distance s along the floor, okay, and assuming mu to be the coefficient of kinetic friction between the block and the floor, and g the acceleration due to gravity, what is the velocity v of the bullet? Okay, so this is a problem of collision, right, and coupled with friction. So what will happen when this bullet will come and it will embed with this capital mass, then what will happen, whole system will move forward. Suppose after some time it will come here, right, and mass is suppose embedded here, this small mass m and capital mass M, right, and the distance is around suppose s, right, along s, right. So what they are asking, what is the velocity v of the bullet, right? So we have to do only two things, as I already told you during collision, we have to do moment balance in the part of collision, right? So initial moment will be equal to final moment. Suppose after striking it, it is moving with velocity v1, right? So what will be initial moment? mv, okay, because initially this mass, capital mass M will be equal to 0. So mv is equal to m plus m into v1, right. So from here we can find out velocity v1 in terms of v, right. So now what will happen, this whole thing will move in forward direction with s, right. So there will be some energy loss, right. And what will be the energy loss? We need to see from this point to this point. So because friction is acting, so energy loss is equal to, because of friction, so friction is always nothing but mu into n, right? So mu is given, n is normal to this surface, right? Energy loss is equal to mu into n into the distance covered s, f ds, right? So this will be our energy loss. So it will cover s distance and it will lose around mu n into s energy, right? So what is n here? N is nothing but m plus capital M G, right? So this will be the energy loss, right? So how this energy is coming? This energy is coming because of the initial kinetic energy of the system, right? What is the initial kinetic energy of the system? So this whole kinetic energy will change into the friction energy, that is the heat, right? This energy. So m plus capital M by 2 into v square, v1 square, right? So this whole kinetic energy will convert into heat loss, that friction loss, right? So we will equate Ke1 is equal to EL, right? And then we will put this v1 value here and we can find out small v from here, right? So m plus m by 2 into v1 square should be equal to energy loss m plus capital M G into S, right? So this m plus will go away, right? Then we will find v1 is equal to root 2 mu G S, right? So in all these terms you can see root 2 mu G S is coming, right? So we found the v1. Now you put this value of v1 here in equation 1 and you will find out the answer, right? So answer will be, let me solve it here, v is equal to small m plus capital M divided by small m, right, into v1, 2 mu G into S, right? So that will be your answer. So where it is m plus m by n, 2 mu gs. So A will be the answer, right? Okay, so all are these questions are very easy, but you should have basic fundamental knowledge of mechanics. What is the energy and what are the friction force? Those things you need to know. Okay, so let us move to next question. So a reel of a mass m and radius of gyration k is rolling down smoothly from rest with one end of the thread wound on it held in the ceiling as depicted in the figure. So we are having this disc type of thing, okay, and there is a protrusion here in the disc, right? So this protrusion, around this protrusion, right, we are having this string wounded up, right, and it is just getting open. So what is happening? This string is just getting open and whole of this mass is falling down, okay, with pure rolling condition, right? So consider the thickness of thread and its mass negligible in comparison with the radius r of the hub and reel mass m. Symbol g represent the acceleration due to gravity. So first they are asking the linear acceleration of reel. Okay, so because as you can see here, this whole mass is moving down, okay, under the force of gravity. So what is happening here? This system is in dynamic, okay, it is a dynamic system. This mass should have some acceleration here and should have some angular acceleration, right? So problem is that this is a dynamic problem, okay, and how we can solve it? Only one way we have, I told you, that is D'Alembert principle, okay. So you need to use only D'Alembert principle to solve this type of problem, right? There is no other way to solve dynamic problem, right? So first what we will do, we will just make free body diagram of this, right? Okay, so suppose it is moving down with a acceleration and it is rotating with alpha angular acceleration. So when we apply D'Alembert principle, what we do? We are doing only same thing, single thing. What we are doing is we are assuming that this whole system is in equilibrium. Okay, and we will add reverse inertia force and reverse inertia moment, right? So if I add reverse inertia force here, so this inertia of this ball, okay, this disc is ma, right? If suppose mass is m and acceleration is a, so inertia will be ma. So in D'Alembert principle, what we do? We apply reverse force ma here, right? And because this whole thing, it is also rotating, so it will have some angular acceleration alpha. So what we are going to do? We will apply reverse inertia, angular inertia, right? And that will be equal to I naught alpha. So I naught means this point is O. Suppose this point is O. So I is mass moment of inertia of the disk into alpha, right? And we don't know both these A and alpha. So what they are asking, the linear acceleration of the reel they are asking, right? So they are asking A only, right? So now we will apply other forces which are acting. Mg is weight, right? And one tension force will be here, not here actually. Somewhere here the tension force will be there. Okay, T. So this distance will be R, that is I think given in the question, right? Yeah. Okay, and radius of gyration is given as K. Okay, so now we just balance these equations in y direction. We will just do sigma Fy is equal to 0. Right, so what are the forces acting in y direction? T plus ma should be equal to mg minus mg should be 0. Right, from this equation we need to find out A, but the problem is that we don't know T, that is the tension in this thread. So how we are going to do it? So obviously we have only one option here, because most of the forces are passing through this point. We will take moment about this point. So if we take moment about this point, ma and mg will cancel out and we will left with only T. So what we are doing? We will take moment about the point O, right? Moment about point O will be equal to 0. So T into R, that is clockwise direction, should be equal to I naught alpha, that is anti-clockwise direction. Both are in reverse, right? So from here we can find out T. Right. So here we have alpha also unknown. So how to find out alpha? So in pure rolling condition, what happens? V is equal to omega r. Okay, so when you differentiate V is equal to omega r with respect to time, right, then you will get A is equal to alpha r. So let me just simply write it here. Important equation. V is equal to omega r, it is a pure rolling condition. When you differentiate it, you will get A is equal to alpha r, right? So from here we can find out alpha, right? So first we will put this value T here. Okay. So I naught alpha by r equal to 0, and this alpha is equal to A by r, right? So I naught will be, later it is A by r square, right? Alpha will be A by r plus ma is equal to mg, right? So from here you can find out A. So A will be equal to, you just take common m, and the I naught, the value of I naught will be mk square, because radius of gyration is given, right? So I will first put I here. Okay, so this is A and I is mk square, right? Now you take A common, so m will go out, so you will get g by plus 1, right? So whether it is matching, yeah. So what we can do, we can solve it a little bit further and we can find out g r square divided by k square plus r square. So this will be the answer and this will be given in the options and you have to mark this one as answer. Okay. So g r square by k square plus r square, that will be the linear acceleration of the mass, right. What is the second question? The tension in the thread. So tension you can find out, you have to put this value a here and you can find out tension directly. So I will find it for you. So for second question, we have to put value of t here, a here, right. G minus a, right. So what is a? G r square by k square plus r square. Okay. So t will be mg k square divided by k square plus r square. When you solve it, you will find out this and this will be answer. Okay. So that's how we are going to solve these type of problems. Whenever you see any acceleration or angular acceleration, what you have to do, you have to assume that this is a dynamic problem and you need to apply D'Alembert principle. There is no other way to solve it, right, other than D'Alembert principle, and that is the easiest way, right. So now let us move to the next question. Now let us move to next question. Body 1 and 2 shown in figure have equal mass m. Okay, so both these bodies, whether this bigger one and smaller one, both are having mass m. All surfaces are smooth. The value of force P required to prevent sliding of body 2 on body 1 is. So again, this question is dynamic problem. So what will happen? All the surfaces are smooth. Because surfaces are smooth, what will happen? We are applying this force P and this whole thing will move, right, with some acceleration, right. Everything will move with acceleration. Okay, so again we will make free body diagram of this small mass m. The whole body is moving with a acceleration, right, and the force P will be equal to 2ma because m and m. Okay, body 1 and 2 shown in figure have equal mass m, right. Right, this force P will create some acceleration to the mass 2m, right, that is a. So now because we know the force P and we know the inertia force also, right. So we will make free body diagram of this mass. One force is acting this direction, one normal force is acting here, we don't know how much it is, right, and because this mass is having acceleration in this direction a, we have to apply D'Alembert principle here, right, and when we apply D'Alembert principle, we will add inertia force in reverse direction, right. So direction of acceleration is this direction, so inertia force will be reversely applied, right, minus ma. Okay, so ma will be the inertia force. So a we can find out from this equation. Okay, so now what they are asking, the value of force P required to prevent sliding of body 2. So here you can see three forces are there, right. So we can apply sine law, right. All the angles you know 45 degree, so this will be 135 and this will be 135. So ma divided by sine 135, okay, should be equal to sine 135. So sine 135 will go away. So mg by sine 135, throw it. M will go away. Okay, wait. So A is equal to G. So if we get A is equal to G, what we will get? P is equal to 2 mg. So that will be answer, right? A will be the answer. Okay, so that's how it is. Everywhere, wherever you see any acceleration or angular acceleration, you have to use D'Alembert principle. And nowadays they are asking many questions from this area only, from D'Alembert principle, right? So that is the answer, right? Let us move to next question now. A circular disc shown in its plan view in the figure rotates in a plane parallel to the horizontal plane about the point O. So this circular disc is rotating about this point. Okay. The two other points A and B are located on the line OZ. Okay. At a distance R and RB from O. So the velocity of point B with respect to point A is vector of magnitude. So what they are asking, velocity of point B with respect to A. So first we will find out velocity of point A and B with respect to this O, right? So it is moving with uniform angular velocity omega, right? Suppose they are moving in counterclockwise direction. So what will happen? Point B will have, so point B will have velocity equal to B with respect to O will be equal to OB into omega, right? Same way VO, AO, and in which direction? In counterclockwise direction. Both are having in counterclockwise direction. OA into omega. So now what they are asking, two other points A and B are located on the line OZ, distance R and RB respectively. The velocity of point B with respect to the point A is a vector of magnitude. So velocity of point B with respect to point A means they are asking VBA, that is equal to VBO minus VAO, right? So VBO is OB, right? And minus OA. So we will take omega common. We took omega common, and what we found here, OB is greater than OA, right? OB is greater than OA, right? So obviously this will be positive. Okay. So if this will be positive, so initially we consider that the angular velocity will be positive in counterclockwise direction. So what will happen? This point B will be rotating with respect to point A in counterclockwise direction, right? So that is the answer. So we can see, read out the options. First one is 0, that is not possible. Second one is omega RB minus RA. Okay, so OB is nothing but RB, right? Right. Into omega RB minus RA, and direction opposite to the direction of motion of point B. So that is not the case. Point B is also rotating in this direction, okay, with respect to O, and point B is rotating in this direction only with respect to A also, right? Third one is omega RB minus RA, and direction same as, okay, so this one is correct. Direction of motion of point B, right? So C will be the answer. Okay, so that's how we are going to solve this question, right? Let us move to next question now. Figure given above shows the angular velocity variation of a rotating disc having a mass of 1 kilogram and radius 1 meter. Okay, so there is a disc which is rotating, right, and having a mass of 1 kilogram and radius 1 meter. What is the value of the torque required so that the disc reaches its final speed from rest? Okay, so first let us see this diagram. So this is omega, okay, and this is time, Okay, so initial velocity, initial omega is 0, right, and final omega we found it 20. After 20 it is not increasing, so 20 will be final omega, right. What is the value of the torque required? Okay, so what is the formula of torque? So we can find out the formula of torque the same way we find out the formula of F. So F is equal to ma, right. So torque will be equal to, in place of m, mass moment of inertia will come, in place of a, alpha, angular acceleration will come, right. So because disk is having mass m is equal to 1 kilogram and radius 1 meter, so I will be mr square by 2. So suppose we are having this disk, right. So about this point, okay, about this line, its polar moment of inertia will be equal to, polar mass moment of inertia will be equal to mr square by 2, right, into what will be the alpha. So alpha we can find out because you can see here it is uniform, not uniform, but slope is uniform, right. So because slope is uniform, if we find out the slope of this line, we can find out the alpha directly from omega. Okay, so the formula of alpha is omega 2 minus omega 1 by t, and what is this omega 2 minus omega 1 by t is slope of the line, right. So omega 2 is 20, omega 1 is obviously 0, 20 by t, and what is the time from here to here? 4 seconds. What is the mass? 1. What is the radius? 1 divided by 2, this will go 10 times 2.25 around, right. So that will be answer, 2.25 will be the answer. 10 by 4 is equal to 2.25 or 2.5, right, 2.5, right, this will be the answer. Okay, so this was also very easy question, but you should know the torque is equal to I alpha, right. Okay, then let us move to next question. It was also very easy. So a rod of length 1 meter is sliding in a corner as shown in figure at the instant when the rod makes an angle of 60 degree with the horizontal plane. The velocity of a point A on the rod is 1 meter per second. Okay, so this point A is moving with 1 meter per second. The angular velocity of the rod at this instant. Okay, so this problem we are going to solve with the help of instantaneous center method that you must have studied in dynamics of machine, right, or kinematics of machine. So how to find out instantaneous center? So I will tell you how to find out instantaneous center first. This A is moving in downward direction, right. Okay, so to find out instantaneous center, you have to make a perpendicular. Okay, so this will be perpendicular to the direction of A, right. So this is not perpendicular to the surface, it is perpendicular to the motion of A, right. Same here, point B, right. So B will be moving in this direction. Okay, so instantaneous center of B will be perpendicular to the motion of B, right. So both these lines will intersect at this point. Okay, so this will be the instantaneous center of A and B together, right. So because A and B both are at the same link, right, and both are rigidly connected to the same link AB, so the instantaneous center of AB will be at this point, right. So this will be the instantaneous center, IC. Okay, so what is the property of a body about its instantaneous center? This whole body at that instant may be considered that this whole body is moving with some angular acceleration, right, and each point of this body will be moving with same angular acceleration about this point IC, right. So whether you are going to take this point, this point, this point, anywhere, about this point, about IC, all the points will be having same angular velocity, not velocity, same angular velocity, right. So we can easily find out the angular velocity of the rod because already we know velocity of point A, right. So the formula is V is equal to omega r, right? So V is nothing but VA. Okay, omega is angular velocity of the point A or for whole length, right? And r, what is r? Perpendicular distance here, right? That will be equal to, so let me see the length of the AB, the rod of length 1 meter. So 1 cos 60 will be 0.5, right? So r will be 0.5. So you can find out omega directly. 1 divided by 0.5 will be equal to 2. So 2 radian per second is your omega. Okay, so 2 is available, yeah, 2 is available. This will be the answer. Okay. Now let us move to next question. So you remember this one, that in this problem always IC will be at this point. This question is a repeating question. In many numericals they are repeating this question, right? In many papers, whether it is ISRO, BARC or your TRB, Teacher Recruitment Board in Tamil Nadu, this question is being repeated again and again. So the easiest way to solve this question with the help of instantaneous center. So you mugged up, you just remember that this point is IC, right? So whenever this question comes, you just mark the IC, right, and find out whatever they want. But first thing you have to mark is IC, instantaneous center, and it is a common question, always it is coming in all type of exam, right? So the next question we are going to see now. Okay, so because I didn't teach you supports and many things, these type of things you will get in strength of material. Okay, so I just took one question and we will solve it and we'll find out the answer. The reaction at the support A, RA. So they are asking RA here of the beam shown in figure. So beam you are going to study in strength of material. That's why I didn't teach much about the beam. But anyway, we will solve one question. Okay, so here you can see there are two support, this point, this one and this one. Okay, so they are asking RA here, and it is simply supported, right? And this one we don't know anything about B. So what we will do, directly we will take moment about the point B, right? Because everything is in equilibrium, momentum of about point B will be equal to 0, right? So just take the moment. From here to here distance is 10 meter. RA into 10 meter, in which direction? Clockwise. So normally we assume that clockwise direction is negative, plus 8 into 4 meter. Suppose it is anti-clockwise, and that is again clockwise. Because of 10 kilonewton also again it is coming clockwise. So minus 10 into the distance between them, 5, should be equal to 0. So from here we can easily find out RA. So 50 minus 32, 18. Okay. So this will come 1.8. So this will be the answer. Oh, there are two 1.8. Okay, so there must be some mistake in writing options. Okay, so answer will be 1.8 only, Newton. Okay, then let us move to next question now. This was also very easy question, 8 kilonewton. Yeah. So this question is I have taken from truss. Okay, and it is very easy question, but it looks very tough, but it is very easy question. The figure shows an idealized plain truss. If a horizontal force of 300 Newton is applied at a point A, then the magnitude of the force produced in member CD. So we have to find out force in member CD, right? So simple thing it is, if you see this question you should find out, because this question belongs to the special case which we studied during trusses. So in special case, first we studied that if there are two links, they are collinear, right, and there is no external force at the joint, then what happens? If there are two links which are collinear and the third link which is connected at any angle, this third link should have tension is equal to 0. There will not be any internal force in third link BC, right? So I will just make free body diagram of B, RBA, right, RBD, right, and this one is RBC. So it is a special case. So RBD will be equal to RBA, right. So this RBC will become 0. So there will not be any force in BC, right. So it belongs to first special case, right. So there is no need to even have BC link, right. Now we make free body diagram of point C. So because already in BC force is 0, RCA, RCE. So CE and CA again they are collinear, right, and this is CD, right. So they are, because these two links are collinear, right. So these two forces will be equal, right, and from the special case we will know that if any third link is connected at any angle, it will have 0 force, right. So RCD will be equal to 0. So answer will be 0, okay, in CD link, okay. So you don't have to solve this question, you have to just see the question. You don't even have to make all these diagrams, no need. Just see the question and find out the answer. So it is very fast, you have to do, okay. Let us move to next question. A ball of mass 3 kg moving with a velocity of 4 meter per second undergoes a perfectly elastic direct central impact with a stationary. Now let us move to next question. A ball of mass 3 kg moving with a velocity of 4 meter per second undergoes a perfect elastic direct central impact with a stationary ball of mass m. After the impact is over, the kinetic energy of 3 kg ball is 6 joule. The possible value of m is, okay, it is a problem of a collision. So first we will make a diagram, right. It is mass 3 kg. This is another ball that is in rest. We don't know the mass, okay. This is first, okay, and after some time what will happen, they will collide and they will be separated, right. So that time it may have some value of, and it may have some what we call velocity, right. So initial velocity will be u1 and u2, right. So suppose its velocity is is 4 meter per second and its velocity is 0 initially, right. So this is V1, this is we can say U1, this is we can say U2, and this one we can say V1, this one we can say V2, right. So now the first thing what we will do in these type of numericals, we will apply momentum conservation, right. So let us start with momentum conservation of these two areas, right. So I will directly write the expression, right. I won't write the formula, okay. So mass is 3 into 4, okay, plus 0 is equal to this is 3 kg, right. 3 into V1 plus m into V2, okay. So what we need to find out, they are asking value of m, and that too possible value of m. So maybe there will be more than one value, right. Okay, so we will have this equation, and in this equation we have three unknowns, V1, m and V2. So to find out m, we need to find out V1 and V2 both. So for that they have given next condition. The energy of the 3 kg of ball after the collision is 6 joule, right. So what is the meaning of energy? Kinetic energy. That will be, so I will directly write down energy for the first ball. 3 is the weight by 2 into the velocity after the collision, V1 square is equal to 6 joule, right. So V1 will come as 2, and because it will be under root 4, so it will come as plus minus 2,
Okay, so once we will take v1 as plus 2, then we will take v1 as minus 2, and we will find out value of m 2 times, right? Okay, so how to find out v2? So we know it is a purely elastic collision. So with the help of coefficient of restitution, we can find out value of v2. So what is the value of E? E is equal to v2 minus v1 divided by u1 minus u2, right? Okay, so this we know already. So from here, what are the things we know? E we know. What is the value of E? 1. What is v2? We don't know. What is v1? We don't know. So v2 minus v1, u1 we know, and that is 4. u2 is 0. So v2 minus v1 is equal to 4, right? So from v2 minus v1 is equal to 4, we are going to put once v1 as plus 2, then we will take v1 as minus 2, and then we are going to solve it. Okay, so what here going to happen? After putting the value of v1 here from this equation plus 2 and minus 2, we will get the value of v2, right? And if we get the value of v2, we can put all the values in this equation. Okay, so in this equation we will know the value of v1 and v2 both. We don't know what is m, right? So that we can find out the value. So there will be two values of m, one for plus when we will take v1 as plus 2, and when we will take v1 as minus 2, there will be another value, right? So suppose first we will take v1 as plus 2. When v1 is plus 2, that time if you will put there in this equation, what you will find? v2 as 6. Okay, you can see here 4 will go to RHS, LHS, v1 will be plus 2, plus will add it to the 4, and v2 will be 6. So when you put v1 and v2 value here in this equation, you will find out the value of m, and that will be equal to around 1, right? 1 kilogram. When you solve it, you will find it. Okay, so now in second one is when we will put v1 is equal to minus 2. So what is the meaning of minus 2? This ball 3 is not moving in x direction. After collision, it started moving in backward direction, right? So if you put it there minus 2 here, then what you will get? 2. So v2 is equal to 2, right? From here, if you put this value v2 is equal to 2 and v1 is equal to minus 2 here, what you are going to get? M is 9 kilogram, right? So there will be two answers, 1 kilogram and 9 kilogram. So you can find this somewhere here. Okay, B. So this will be the answer. Okay, so that's how we are going to solve it. So thing is that we have only three things in collision. First one is momentum conservation, second one is energy conservation, third one is coefficient of restitution, right? This E should be either 1, 0, or they will give the value of E, right? Based on the material, they can give value of like E 0.5, 0.6 or 0.7. So based on that, you have to apply this and you have to find out the expressions, and finally you have to solve it, right? Okay, then now we will move to next question. So a block of mass m, 10 kilogram rests on a horizontal floor. The acceleration due to the gravity is 9.81. The coefficient of static friction between the floor and the block is 0.2. A horizontal force of 10 Newton is applied on the block. The magnitude of the force of the friction on block is how much? Okay, so it is very easy question, friction question, right? So first we need to find out what is the threshold limit for the friction. So that threshold limit will come as mu into n. Okay, friction force. If the applied force is, suppose F applied greater than this, then only this block will move, otherwise this block will not move, right? So what happens? How much is mu n? So mu is 0.2. right? Mu is 0.2, and what is n? N is nothing but mg. So what is the weight of the block? 10 into 9.81. Okay, so when you solve it, 98.1, so 196.2. So what you are going to get? 196 point. So 98.1 multiplied by 2, 196, 1.96. Around this much you will get. Okay, so the horizontal force of 10 Newton is applied. F applied is 10 Newton. So what will be the magnitude of friction force? So this will not be 1.96, it will be 19.6. Right, when you solve it, you will get 19.6. So this 19.6 is greater than 10, that is the applied force. Okay, so what will happen? It is not, we are not having threshold limit. So this was the threshold limit that I told you, that I taught you in the friction chapter. So it will be somewhere here. So friction force and applied force. This is friction force, this is applied force. Right, both will be equal. Right, so what is the applied force? 10. F applied is 10. So from this we can say that friction force will be equal to 10. Right, so applied force is 10 Newton and friction force will be 10 Newton. Then only this block will remain in static position. Right, otherwise this block will start moving, and it cannot start moving until we have force 19.6. Right. Okay, then now let us move to next question. Answer is 10 Newton only here. Okay, now we will move to next question. Okay, so next question is, a truss is composed of members AB, BC, CD, AD and BD as shown in figure. A vertical load of 10 kN is applied at point D. Okay, the magnitude of force in the member BC is. So they are asking magnitude of force at the member BC. So how we are going to solve this truss problem? Again we will apply simply our sine theorem, right, Lami's theorem, right. So first we need to see that this link A, B and C, in which AB and BC both are collinear, right. So because both are collinear, so the force in the third link will be 0. From the special case we can find out the third link is having 0 internal force. So what will happen here? We can simply remove this BD, right. There is no need of this BD. Okay. So now we will make first free body diagram of point D. Okay, so one force is acting like 10 kN, two other forces will be acting like this. Okay, so this force will be because of CD, force from C to D. This force will be force from A to D. Both are making same angle, alpha or alpha. So this is 45, this is 45, so this will be 45 and this will be 45. So alpha will be equal to 45. So we simply we can just resolve the forces in y direction. Sigma y, sigma Fy for the point D is equal to 0. So that from here we can find out 10 is equal to component of FCD in y direction, component of FAD in y direction, right. FAD in y direction and both are in y direction. So how much it will be? Cos alpha 2 FAD and FCD. Because this diagram is symmetrical, we can simply say that in AD and DC force will be same. So we will just assume this as F and this also as F. So 2F cos alpha, cos 45, right. So this cos 45 is equal to 1 by root 2. So you will find out F is equal to 10 by root 2, right. So you found out the force in DC link, right, or DA link. In any of the link, force will be same, right. Now we have to come to point A, okay, and here we need to draw free body diagram of pin A. Okay, one will be reaction, right. One force will be like this, and this will be around 10 by root 2, right. One force will be like this will be FBA, okay. So now we just need to solve it. So we can simply take one component of tan root 2 in the direction of x, okay. This angle is again 45. So 10 by root 2 cos 45 should be equal to FBA, right. How it came? Sigma fx for the point A is equal to 0, right. So FBA will come 5. Okay, so at this pin 5 BA force is acting, right. Okay, so that will be answer, 5 kilonewton. Okay, this is answer. Okay, then now let us move to next question. So next question is, a block of mass m rests on an inclined plane and is attached by a string to the wall as shown in figure. The coefficient of static friction between the plane and the block is 0.25. The string can withstand a maximum force of 20 Newton. The maximum value of mass m for which the string will not break and the block will be in static equilibrium. So we can simply make free body diagram of this block first, right. And what we need to find out? Maximum value of mass m for which the string will be not break and block will be in static equilibrium. Okay. So just we will make the free body diagram. Here I will make itself. So the maximum force is 20. That is given in the numerical itself. Okay. Weight is mg. Theta is not given. So cos theta is given 0.8 and sin theta is given 0.6. So that we are going to use. This angle is theta, right. So mg sin theta. Okay, and this will be mg cos theta. Okay, mg sin theta and mg cos theta, right. What are the next forces? Normal. This normal will act here, and this friction force that will be equal to mu n. I will simply write it mu into n, right. So now because we made a whole free body diagram, we can solve it. Okay, so just we will assume that we will take force, we will just assume that this is x direction and this is y direction, right. Suppose if it is the coordinate, okay, we are just setting the coordinate according to our requirement. It is x and it is y, right. So first we will do sigma fx is equal to 0. Okay, then we will see sigma fy, right. So what is sigma fx is equal to 0? 20 and mu n both are in same direction. 20 plus mu, and n value we can directly put. So first we will do sigma fy. Let us see sigma fy is equal to 0 in this direction, so that we can find out n. So n in positive y direction, mg cos theta in positive negative y direction will be equal to 0, right. So n will come as mg cos theta. So this will be value of n. I will directly write it mu into n, right? mg cos theta, right? Now what I am to do? 20 and mu n in same direction, mg sin theta in reverse direction, right? So minus mg sin theta is equal to 0 because there is no other force in x direction, right? So from here we can simply find out the value of m. Cos theta is given, that is 0.8, and mass must be given here. Let us see the string can mass only we have to find out, right? Mu is given. Okay, so friction is 0.25. So let us take m common. 0.25 into tan into cos theta is equal to 0.8. Okay, minus, we already have taken m out, right? G will be tan into sin theta. What is the value of sin theta given in the question? That is 0.6, right? Okay, and all these things will be equal to minus 20, right? We will take this 20 out in RHS. Okay, so from here we can find out m minus 20, or simply we can take plus 20 and we will minus from here to here. 10 into 0.6 is 6 minus 10 into 0.88, 8 into 1 by 4 is equal to 2. So what we will get? 5. So that will be the answer. The maximum value of mass m will be 5 kilogram. Okay. Okay then. So this is also very easy question, but obviously you have to make free body diagram in proper way, right? Then only you can solve these type of problems. Okay, let us move to next question now. A rigid ball of weight 100 Newton is suspended with the help of a string. The ball is pulled by a horizontal force F such that the string makes an angle with the vertical. The magnitude of force F is. Okay, this is also a very easy question. So, a rigid ball of weight 100 Newton is suspended with the help of string. The ball is pulled by horizontal force. So, initially this ball is rigid, okay, and having weight of 100 Newton. Then what they did? They pulled this ball with the help of some force, and we got this thing here. Force F, this is 100 Newton, and here it will be tension, right? So simply 3 forces, okay, and 3 angles, we can easily apply sine law. The magnitude of force F is F divided by, so the angle we need to know. So string makes and angle. Okay, so what we can do? We can assume that this angle is theta and that is 45. Maybe in the question it is not given. I am giving you this angle is 45, right? So this will be 45. Okay, so you don't even need to apply sine law here because it is 90 degree, right? You will just resolve the forces in x direction. Sigma fx is equal to 0. So T cos 45 minus F is equal to 0, right? Or better we will apply sine law only. So sine law will be good, right? Because we don't know T. So F divided by sine 135 is equal to 100 divided by sine 135, right? This angle is 135, this angle is 135, right? So this will cut down and we will get F is equal to 100. The magnitude of force is F, right? That is 100 only. Okay, so it depends upon the angle. If angle will be changed, suppose I will take this angle as 60, then what will happen? F divided by sine 90 plus 60, and sine 90 plus 60 is cos 60. Okay, and this one will become 180 minus 60. Right. So in this case answer will change. You will get F by cos 60 is equal to 100 by sin 60. So it will come tan 60 down, so 100 by root 10. F will be 100 by root 3. So based on the angle we can solve this problem, right? Okay, let us move to next question now. A rod PQ of length L is equal to root 2 meter and uniformly distributed mass of M is equal to 10 kilogram is released from the rest at the position shown in figure. The end slides along the frictionless faces OP and OQ. Okay, OP and OQ. Assume acceleration due to gravity. The mass moment of inertia of rod about its center of mass and axis perpendicular to the plane of the figure is ml square by 12. Okay, so where will be the center of mass? Midway here, right? About this line, this axis, it will have ml square by 12 mass moment of inertia. At this instant, the magnitude of angular acceleration of the rod is. Okay, so we already know from the previous numerical when we have done it, we found that instantaneous center, right? So again in this case, again we have to find out instantaneous center, right? Because they are asking the magnitude of angular acceleration. So about something it is rotating, right? About some point it must be rotating, and that point is nothing but IC, instantaneous center, right? Because this whole thing is rotating with respect to IC, instantaneous center, so we can easily find out what we call alpha, that is angular acceleration. Suppose, and now one thing we need to take in mind, that we have to take I, that is moment of inertia, mass moment of inertia of the rod with respect to this axis, not with respect to centroidal axis. We need to make it with respect to the axis where IC located, right? Perpendicular axis where IC located. Okay, so how to find out that? So that parallel axis theorem we are going to apply. So from parallel axis theorem, I will be equal to I naught plus m d square. D is nothing but the distance between these two axes, right? So I naught is given ml square by 12 plus m, and we need to find out this distance. Okay, so suppose PQ is 12, PQ is L, right? This will become L by 2. Okay, so how do we find out? This is L, so its component, this much will be L cos 45, L by root 2, right? So L cos 45 will be L by root 2, okay, and this center of mass will be at the mid position, so L by root 2 into 1 by 2, right? So from here to here, the distance will be L by 2 root 2. L is given as root 2, right? So it will be 1 by 2 only. From here to here, distance will be 1 by 2. Okay, so now we will simply take moment about this point, okay, I center, and we will find out the acceleration. So suppose this rod is rotating with alpha, angular acceleration alpha, then what will happen? What will be the inertia of this force? Inertia of this rod, I alpha, right? I we already found out from there. D is 1 by 2, right? Wait, actually we have to find out this distance. So this distance is 1 by 2. So we need to find out from here to here. So how we are going to find it? This angle is 45 again. Okay. So simply we can make it very easy. No, don't go into that. We will just make it very easy now. It will be very easy because why? This is a rectangle. This is root 2, right? If this is root 2, this whole line will become root 2. Okay. So this much will become root 2 by 2. That will be 1 by root 2. From here to here, it will be 1 by root 2. So this distance will be 1 by root 2, right? Why? Because the whole length will be root 2. Okay. From here to here it is root 2. Then half will be 1 by root 2. Okay. So here we can put 1 by root 2 square. Square, right? And we can solve it. I is equal to something, and we can find. Now let us move to. We will think that this whole rod is rotating about IC, right? So if whole rod is rotating about IC, it must be having some inertia, okay, angular inertia, right? That will be I alpha. Alpha is angular acceleration, okay. And why it is coming? It is coming because of the force that is acting here. Okay, this force mg is creating a torque, a couple, right, about point I. Okay, so how to find out this couple? From this point to this point we need to find out distance, that we already found out 1 by 2, right, mg into 1 by 2. So it will be moving in anti-clockwise direction about this point, right? So from here we can find out alpha is equal to mg into 0.5 divided by I. I is given here, m will be cut down, right? L is given as root 2, that will become 2, and 1 by 6 plus 1 by 2, right? Okay, so it will be around, this will be 1 by 2, 1 plus 1 by 3. So answer will be 3g by 2. Okay, so the answer will be 3g by 2, right here. You solve it and you can find the answer, right? So what is the value of g? 10. Okay, so this will be the answer, right? Alpha is equal to 15 around. Okay, so anyway method will be like this only. You have to solve it like that. Okay, you have to find out the values, and this formula you have to apply. Okay, so answer may change a little bit, but the method will remain same. ml square by 12 plus m by 1 by root 2 square, md square. So only two equations you need to apply here, right? If you apply these two equations, you can find out some answer. I may have done some mistake here, but it's okay, right? Because I have to teach you how to use these equations, okay? And calculation we can change later, right? So it is all algebra only, right? Somewhere 1 by 2 also come. Okay, then let us move to next question, because these two equations only we are going to use, and I can give you as assignment to solve these equations. Okay, so one thing you have to always remember, I center is here only, right? Instantaneous center, right? And about this only you have to find out all the things, alpha or whatever you want to find out, you have to find out about this IC, right? So now let us move to next question. Move आगा hanged. Okay, now let us move to next question. Okay, so the following figure shows the velocity time plot for a particle traveling along a straight line. The distance covered by the particle from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 5 seconds is, right? So this is a diagram between velocity and time. Okay, so let us simply write what is the formula of velocity. ds by dt, right? So we can find out ds as integration of v dt. And what is the meaning of integration of v dt? Area. Okay, so if we can calculate this whole area, we will be able to find out the covered distance, right? Total distance, total, right? So we have to do nothing here, just we need to find out this area, and it will be like no, up to 5 only, because they are asking t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 5 second. So up to here only we need to find out the area, right? So this whole area is divided into triangles. Many triangles are there. You just add them and find the answer, right? So that I am going to solve for you. So first we will find out area of this triangle, that will be 1 into 1 by 2, plus then we will find out the area of this square, 1 into 1, plus then I will find out area of this one, 1 into 1 plus first this square, then this triangle, that is 3 into 1 by 2. Okay. Now we have to find out area of this trapezoid, right? How we will find out? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 into 2 by 2 plus 2 into 2 by 2. Okay, so all these are algebra only, you can find out yourself, but just we will solve it now. This is 3 by 2 plus 3 by 2 plus 1, 5 by 2 plus 2 1, 6. 8 by 2 is equal to 4, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. 10 meter will be the answer. Right. So these type of questions we need to finish very fast within 1 minute and we can complete this, right? Okay, then let's move to next question. Two discs A and B with identical mass m and radius r are initially at rest. They roll down from the top of the identical inclined planes without slipping. Disc A has all of its mass concentrated at the rim, while disc B has its mass uniformly distributed at the bottom of the plane. The ratio of the velocity of the center of disc A to the velocity of the center of disc B is. So there are two discs which are rolling down. So we discs are having only one work to roll down, right? So one disc is this one. In this disc, what is the problem? The disc B has its mass uniformly distributed, and disc A has all its mass concentrated at the rim. So it is nothing but a rim. So don't even assume it as a what we call disc. Just assume it as a rim. Okay. And this here mass is uniformly distributed in the disc. It is a disc and it is a rim. You can just assume that. The ratio of velocity of the center of disc A, VA, and this will be VB. So they are initially at rest. So initially VA will be 0 and VB will be 0. So the motion is without slipping, right? So what it will follow? V is equal to omega r, right? So disc has all its mass concentrated at the rim. So what they are asking, the ratio of velocity of the center of disc A to the velocity of center of disc B. So how we are going to solve it? So here we are going to use energy principle. Why we are using energy principle? Because energy will be conserved at top and bottom, right? At top energy will be something and bottom energy will be something. So what is the energy at the top? So at the top energy will be because of the height, okay, because both of these balls or rim and disc both are having zero velocity, so both are having zero kinetic energy, but they are at the height h, so they will be having mgh as state that potential energy, right? mgh as potential energy, right? So what will happen when this disc will roll down to the bottom? This whole mgh will converted into kinetic energy, right? So at the bottom what will be the total kinetic energy? So here we are having two mass, one is mass here, one is mass there. So we will put 2 here, okay, and now we will find out kinetic energy at the bottom. So we know that if whenever anything is rolling, the kinetic energy is because of its omega as well as because of the movement of centroid, right? So first one we will find out kinetic energy of A. So because the mass is same for all, m by 2 VA square at the bottom plus IA by 2 omega A square, right? This total will be the energy of kinetic energy of the ball at the bottom, plus m by 2 VB square, kinetic energy of the disk because of its movement of center of mass, plus IB. What is IB? Mass moment of inertia of disk B by 2 into omega B square at the bottom, right? So now we have to solve this and we need to find out the ratio, right? So here what will happen, kinetic energy of 1 will be equal to kinetic energy of 2, right? So just look back, look it again. Both of these masses, you can say it is a rim and it is a disk, they are having same potential energy at the height h, because they are having same mass. This is also having mass m and this is also having mass m. So both of them are having mgh separate potential energy. So when they will move down, their total energy should remain constant, right? Why? Because we are not having any external force. There is only one force, that is conservative gravity. Because of that, mgh energy already we have taken, right? So whole of this mgh should convert into kinetic energy here, Ke1, and should convert into kinetic energy here, Ke2. So mgh will convert into Ke2 totally, mgh will convert into Ke1 totally, right? So this Ke1 should be equal to Ke2, right? So here what we have to do, because both of them are having same potential energy, so this is Ke1 and this is Ke2. Both of them are equal, right? Here we have to put equal sign, okay? So now we can find out the ratio. So before finding out the ratio, we have to put the value of IA. Okay. So what is the value of IA? In case of the rim, it will be mr square, right? Suppose radius is r. So we will just take m common. M by 2 common, actually 2 will be cut down, so no need to take common. M will come out, okay, and we will have a square here plus what is IA? M r square into omega a square, right? Again from RH also we will take m common, 2 will gone. IB will be mr square by 2. For the disk, we need to find out mass moment of inertia because of this axis that is perpendicular to the board, right? So that will be mr square by 2. So m will come out, we will have only r square by 2 into omega b square. Okay, now we need to solve it and we can find out the ratio. M will go down. This r into omega a is VA, right? V is equal to r omega, because we are having without slipping, rolling without slipping. So here we will have 2VA square, r into omega is VA, okay, r into omega b is VB. So VB square plus VB square by 2, 3 by 2 VB square, right? So from here we can find out VA by VB is equal to √3 by 2, right? That will be the answer. Here it is. Okay, so that's how we have to solve. These questions are taking so much time, but in exam you need to be fresh, you need to be totally concentrated and you need to solve it very fast, because we have no other option. We need to solve very fast. Within 3 minutes we need to get the answer. Okay, so that's the thing, that's where practice is important. You need to do more practice, more numericals, solve all the last year questions of IAS, IES and GATE, right? Then only you will be able to increase your speed. Okay, so √3 by, not this one actually, this one. It is not √3 by 2, this one. This is the answer, √3 by 2, right? So A will be the answer. Okay.
Now let us move to next question. Next. Okay, so we are having this question here. A car is having weight W is moving in a direction as shown in figure. The center of gravity of the car is located at the height h from the ground. Okay, so center of gravity is located at h from the ground. Where it is? Okay, midway between the front and the rear wheel. Okay, the distance between the front and the rear wheel is L. Okay, the acceleration of the car is a and acceleration of due to gravity is G. Reactions on the front wheel and the rear wheel are given by. So because car is in moving, so what we are going to do? We are going to apply D'Alembert principle, right? We will assume that car is static, right? And it is having this acceleration, and because of this it has ma inertia. So we will apply D'Alembert and it will be ma force here, and we will analyze it as it is static, right? Then we will find out the reaction. Okay, so how we will solve it? You just take, because we have to find out reaction at let us see. First we need to see the options. Rf is equal to W by 2, this one. Okay, so it cannot be equal, okay, because one ma is coming, so this cannot be the answer. This also cannot be the answer. So answer will be out of them one, right? So if we find out only Rf, we can find out the answer. We don't have to find out Rr. So what we are going to do, we will directly take moment about this point. Okay, so if we take moment about this point, all the friction will be passing through here, right? And Rr will be passing through here. That won't come into the account, right? So directly we will take friction amount, moment about this point, rear side. Okay, R should be 0, right? So first one is Rf, that is giving counterclockwise rotation, Rf into L. Then we will have W, that is giving clockwise rotation, W into L by 2, right? Then we have this Ma giving counterclockwise rotation, Ma into H is equal to 0. So from here we can find out Rf, right? So it will be WL by 2. Okay, you can directly cut the L will come here. W by 2 minus MH by L. Okay, so what is Ma? Okay, so what we need to do, we need to replace M with W. So this will be W by G, right? So W by 2 minus W by G, AH by L. So Rf is W by 2 minus W by G, AH by L. Okay, so this will be the answer. Okay, so first we need to see option. If we can find out direct answer, then we don't have to find out everything. So this is very easy question, and it is finished. Now let us move to last question of the lecture. Okay, so it is not actually last, I think it is second last. Yeah, it is last. Okay, a shell is fired from a cannon with a speed of v at an angle of theta with the horizontal direction. At the highest point in its path, it explodes into two pieces of equal masses. One of the piece retraces its path to the cannon, the speed of the other piece immediately after explosion. So this question is from projectile motion, and nowadays they are not asking questions from projectile. As you can see here, GATE 1994. Back in before 2000, they used to ask many questions from projectile motion. So in case if any projectile motion question came, that's why I am solving this question in front of you, and we will solve it in generalized manner. We are not going to mug up any formula, and generalized manner we are going to solve it. So how is the solution? First we will make the diagram. Cannon is here. Okay, and we have this bullet here. So bullet is going like this. Okay, so when it will reach the top position, bullet, it will blast. Okay, so this bullet or this bomb will blast, and half of the part will go back. okay, and half of the part will go back somewhere else. So trajectory of this part we already know, because what they are saying, this part will come back and come back to the cannon itself, and the other part it will go somewhere, we don't know the trajectory. So this trajectory we don't know, but this trajectory we know, right? So we can simply apply here momentum transfer equation, momentum conservation, okay, and then we can find out the answer, right? So we have to apply momentum in x direction only, right? So okay, so how we will solve it? So first we will find out momentum before explosion, right? So we are going to find out momentum only in x direction. Momentum conservation in x direction. So this is the explosion will happen, and this mass m by 2 will come back, right? So before explosion, what was the momentum of the mass? M into, suppose here we are having initial velocity as v, okay, so the velocity in y direction will be v cos theta if this angle is theta, right? So initially we have momentum as m into v cos theta, okay, in x direction. It should be equal to final momentum, right, at this point here, right? So at this point we are having two masses. So one mass is coming back, m by 2. So it will have momentum in reverse direction, minus m by 2 into v cos theta. Why I am taking v? Because this mass will come back to the same place. So it should have same velocity, right? And moreover, during projectile motion, what happens? You will take two component of velocity. This will be v sin theta, and this will be v cos theta, right? So v cos theta will remain constant. It won't change throughout the projectile motion, right? Because there is no force in x direction. If there is a drag, then v cos theta may change, but there is no force in x direction. Only in y direction we have g. Okay, because of that this v sin theta, here it will be maximum, here it will be 0, here it will be maximum. So v sin theta will change, v cos theta will not change for anything. Okay. Now we will talk about the other mass here. This mass m by 2, it will go with v velocity. Okay. Some other velocity. This v1 we don't know. v1, right? So we have to find out this v1 only. So just cut down all the mass m, right? So this v cos theta by 2 will come there, equal to v1 by 2, right? So this v1 will be v cos theta. So wait, I think I did one mistake. Okay, what was the mistake? I didn't take this minus sign. So I will solve it again up to here. So this minus sign is here. Why? Because this m by 2 is coming in backward direction. Okay, so this minus sign will come here. V cos theta plus 1 by 2 v cos theta will become 3 by 2 v cos theta is equal to v1 by 2. So we will have v1 as 3 v cos theta, and answer will be 3 v cos theta. Answer. So that's how we are going to solve a projectile motion question. We are not going to mug up any formula for that. Generalized way we can solve it by using momentum conservation and energy conservation and Newton's 3 equation of motion. So with this we will conclude the engineering mechanics portion. So I have left many topics, but those topics rarely it will come in GATE examination. Most of the topics that comes in GATE examination already I have covered. Even if you have any doubt, you can ask me in Moodle, right? We are having discussion forum in Moodle. There you can ask any question from me, or you can ask a question in YouTube comment also. And I think you all have my number already. You can ask me if you have a very grave problem, that you can ask in WhatsApp also. But I will say prefer only Moodle, because nowadays from next semester onwards we are going to conduct all the classes through Moodle. So happy learning all of you, and that's how we are going to finish the engineering mechanics portion and complete all the quizzes whatever we are giving. And thank you all. Thank you.